This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Adrena Sinclair. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. And breaking now at 9, we've got new details about that shooting involving Chicago police in Chicago's Austin neighborhood. Police now say those shots were fired by accident.
And another setback to President Donald Trump's executive order looking to end birthright citizenship, what a court ordered overnight and what could happen next.
And as we take a live look outside, we're going from bitter to a little better. Still cold, but not as bad, and a warm up is ahead. At least we got some sunshine going for us today. Let's bring in Laura Bannon here with your first alert forecast. Hey, Laura.
Hey there. Yeah, likely going to feel those changes in the afternoon hours. It's still bitterly cold right now. 11 degrees at O'Hare. It's 12 midway. Winds from the northwest keeps those wind chills really low right now, as low as -3 O'Hare and DeKalb, -14 degrees. Through the day today with the sunshine, likely going to see more in the way of clouds here this afternoon, but we do find temperatures getting up into the 20s before falling right back down into the single digits. Comes along with sub-zero wind chills. Now, over the next couple of days, we will be watching for some warming temperatures above freezing, well above freezing, especially by next week. We'll talk more about that warming trend coming up here shortly.
All right, Laura, thank you. And now let's get to that breaking news. Chicago police say an officer's gun accidentally went off during an arrest. Thankfully, no one was hurt by that gunfire.
It happened early this morning in the Austin neighborhood. That's where Marissa Perlman has been all morning, and she joins us live now with some brand new surveillance video of how this all played out. Good morning, Marissa.
Good morning to both of you. Yeah, police now classifying this incident as an accidental discharge. Now, police were monitoring a red Dodge Charger that's still here on scene in connection with the robbery. That car seen in that surveillance video from a business across the street. In this video, you see the driver of the Charger trying to drive around and evade police in the parking lot of a gas station here on Cicero. As 2 police officers corner the car and 2 officers get out with the weapons drawn, the suspect in the Charger drives off. Now, off camera, we know the car eventually crashes into a fence directly across the street. The suspects ran from the scene on foot. After a brief chase, police arrested all 3 suspects. But during that arrest process, that's when Chicago police say an officer accidentally discharged their weapon, and again, no one was hit. 2 of the suspects were taken to hospitals for observation, as well as that officer who was involved in this. A weapon was recovered on scene. But this scene is expansive, covering Cicero and closing off several streets around it to traffic for hours. At this time, Cicero closed between Madison and Jackson. Now, we do want to know, this is the second time in a week we're reporting on an accidental discharge incident involving Chicago police. The last one happened on Saturday, again involving a similar foot pursuit. Now, again, we're still waiting from police for more information, but at this point, we know that the Civilian Office of Police Accountability tells us they will continue to look into exactly what happened here. We're now live in Austin. I'm Marissa Perlman, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Marissa, thank you for those details. And also breaking overnight, 2 Chicago police officers were hurt in this multi-car crash here near Cicero and North. Police say around 9:30 last night, a turning minivan hit an unmarked police car. The lights and sirens were on. It was responding to a call. That sparked a chain reaction with police then hitting 2 other vehicles, and then a different squad car was hit by a flying wheel. 2 officers and a woman in one of the cars were taken to the hospital, but no major injuries. Citations now pending in that. And today we could learn whether victims will be able to sit and watch the trial for the accused Highland Park parade shooter before they take the stand. Now, typically witnesses are not allowed to watch out of concern their testimony could be influenced, but prosecutors filed a motion asking the judge to allow it this time. The judge set to decide that at 11 this morning before that trial starts on Monday.
Chicago Public Schools CEO Pedro Martinez is out of the running for superintendent of Clark County Public Schools in Nevada. He was one of 6 finalists, but was eliminated in a vote Tuesday night. Chicago's appointed school board voted to fire Martinez without cause in December after growing hostility with Mayor Brandon Johnson. Martinez's contract allows him to stay on as CEO, though, until June, and he is suing the Chicago Board of Education over his dismissal. A new partially elected school board will appoint his successor, though Johnson could still influence that decision. And breaking overnight, a federal appeals denied the Justice Department's request to overturn a ruling blocking President Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship. Right now, the law says anyone born in the U.S. is a citizen. The president tried to end birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants, but a Seattle judge blocked the government from implementing it. The appeals court decision means the issue will likely end up at the Supreme Court. And today, President Donald Trump is making waves over his suggestion the federal government should run Washington, D.C.
This comes after the president posted "Long live the King." That was a quote from him after its administration pulled support from New York's congestion pricing program. CBS News' Jared Hill reports Trump also publicly called the president of Ukraine a dictator.
Today, President Donald Trump is going up against two major American cities. Overnight on Air Force One, he complained about crime in the nation's capital and backed a Republican idea for the federal government to take over Washington, D.C.
I think that we should run it strong, run it with law and order.
The city's mayor later posted on social media, Washington, D.C. is a world-class city. This comes hours after President Trump pulled support for New York City's efforts to curb heavy traffic by charging drivers higher fees in busy areas during business hours. Trump writing congestion pricing is dead. Manhattan and all of New York is saved. Long live the king. The state's governor is challenging the move in court.
We're in a fight. We do not back down. Not now, not ever.
Elon Musk has got to go.
Across the country, protests intensified against sweeping federal firings. CBS News has learned more than 6,000 IRS employees will have their jobs eliminated by the end of the week. Most of them expected to be newer probationary hires. Meanwhile, President Trump escalated his war of words with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy.
A dictator without elections.
Trump accused Zelenskyy of starting the war, which began after Russia invaded Ukraine 3 years ago, and said he's misusing U.S. aid. Some Senate Republicans pushing back.
I do not agree that President Zelenskyy is to blame.
Zelenskyy has suggested President Trump lives in a disinformation space. The White House has held talks with both countries this week aimed at ending the war. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And just moments ago, we learned a news conference between Zelenskyy and President Trump's Ukraine envoy was canceled. A Kyiv official says it was canceled at the request of the U.S. Now, the war in Ukraine started when Russia invaded the country in February of 2022. Since then, the U.S. has committed $183 billion to supporting Ukraine, that number coming from the watchdog overseeing American assistance. Now, AIDS Foundation Chicago joining other civil and human rights groups in suing the Trump administration. This lawsuit is over recent executive orders regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, accessibility, and transgender people. The lawsuit claims they violate the organization's right to free speech and due process while also engaging in intentional discrimination. They say it will limit the organization's ability to provide social and health services like HIV treatment.
The Senate is set to vote today on whether to confirm Kash Patel as FBI director.
How a group of Democrats are trying to stop that from happening.
And spring break may be the last thing on your mind with this week's cold weather, but next, we're sharing the top travel destinations for this year.
It's an absolute thrill to be a part of this historic moment in daytime television.
And it definitely is a historic moment. Beyond the Gates will be the first daytime soap opera about a black family. Two stars join us live on the show next to talk about it.
And things are getting better after today. Temperatures going into the 20s, eventually 30s, and some 40s. A closer look at some of those warmer days in your first look forecast.
Today is National Love Your Pets Day. This holiday focuses on giving pets all the extra cuddles and treats. Pets offer a variety of benefits, of course, to a person's well-being, including reducing stress and anxiety and offering a social boost. You can celebrate today by taking your dog out for a long walk, or a walk at all because it's so cold, or cuddling up to your four-legged pal. And Aurora knows volunteers make the lives better for animals in shelters.
Yeah, so it's introducing a new volunteer program, and it's meant to improve the safety, the training, and all the interactions for pets and for people. The new program includes 5 different specializations, and volunteers can submit an online application to exercise and socialize dogs or cats, to groom animals, maybe take photos or videos of them for adoptions, and also train them. Applicants will get an assignment based on their interest and also their expertise. Now, we are just a few weeks from spring break, and we now have a list of AAA's top destinations.
And Chicago is up in the top 10.
Of course we are.
Woohoo! 4 cities in Florida, though, beat us out, with people preferring Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and Tampa. But Chicago and Charlotte rounded out the list of domestic locations. The top destinations overseas include Rome, London, Paris, Barcelona, and Madrid.
The only reason the Florida locations beat us is because of the weather.
Yes.
If not, we would beat them because we've got the skyline on the beach.
That's true.
You know?
Right. And all the culture to go with it.
Exactly. And all the things.
Everything that goes.
But not our weather right now, Laura. It's so bad.
Yeah, this is probably, unfortunately, one of the last places you probably want to be. But hey, meet us in summer. We'll be chatting up. You won't want to leave. You'll eventually want to move here, and then you'll be like us. Nice, big, happy family. All right, 9:14, everyone. We've got some sunny skies out there. Always a nice pick-me-up when you get into these really intense cold stretches. Frigid wind chills in place, improving some for the afternoon. We at least have one more frigid night tonight where we do expect some sub-zero wind chill readings. Do have some lake effect snow ongoing across parts of Indiana up toward Michigan. But the big focus from here on out is the thaw out and how long it'll be around this time. Right now, 11 degrees O'Hare, Midway sitting at 12. Wind chills are not too bad. I mean, they are still below zero, but they're not like the negative 29, the minus 30 degrees that we had earlier in the week. Valparaiso minus 8, minus 12 out toward Aurora. Wind chill forecast, these numbers stay low. We go up into the single digits. Highest reading at Chicago O'Hare today, likely going to be sitting at 9 degrees for a feels like reading. Winter weather advisories in effect to the other side of the lake across Porter County, in effect until midnight tonight. Do have some lake effect snow that's going to be pivoting in and out. Most of the snow is going to be accumulating across parts of Berrien County. Otherwise, we've got quiet skies, sunshine out there, some clouds in the late day and going into the evening hours. But some more sunshine will be offered up again for Friday and going through the weekend. Eventually, we'll get a shift, and as that shift happens, we do see a nice improvement with our temperatures, and we're finally getting above freezing starting on Saturday. Today, a high of 23 degrees. This is 6 degrees warmer compared to yesterday. So yes, you will feel the change, but by the weekend is when we're going to be singing a different tune out there. Another frigid night with a low of 9 degrees. Sub-zero wind chills as low as negative 10, especially out toward DeKalb, Aurora. That's been some of the really cold spots here this week. 7-day forecast, high near 40. By Sunday, we take it up a notch, go to the mid-40s. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And not looking at any type of precipitation or rain chance until the middle part of next week. All right, let's go over to the First Alert Traffic Center on this Friday Eve. Hi, Chris.
Looking for more than one day in a row to go flying. Hi, Laura. It's Friday Eve, and unfortunately, I wish I had better news, but we've been running into each other all over the place out there. Got a couple of multi-vehicle crashes. The roads are tied in knots. Look at that. The core expressways are glowing red everywhere. We've got a multi-vehicle crash on the outbound Bishop Ford by the Stony Island feeder, and got another one here on the northbound side of 290-53. Looks like we're getting some resolution to this. We had 3 left lanes blocked, but that delay is shrinking very quickly. We had a host of ways to get around it. Roselle, Meacham, Rawwing, which is Old 53, south of where it crosses underneath 355 there. This is still in play. Look at this. Multi-vehicle crash, outbound Ford, Stony Island feeder. 2 left lanes are blocked before the curve, before 103rd. Jammed up solid into the mess coming off of I-57, coming off the outbound side of the Ryan. Inbound side of the Ford's got all sorts of gapers. May have a crash on the other side there as well. Wow, we really have to be careful. And we still have this police investigation with Cicero closed, Madison to Jackson till further notice, so there's a whole host of ways to get around that as well. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a new daytime soap opera debuting on a major TV network for the first time in more than 25 years. It airs on CBS and Paramount Plus next week, and we got a preview of Beyond the Gates coming up. But first, here's our latest lesson in our Black History Month series.
Peace, everybody. I'm Tanisha Peoples, a storyteller and the founder and CEO of the Roots Initiative. And I'm here to talk about the work of resistance, self-love, and legacy. Today, the work lies in the design of systems and spaces that honor our communities, celebrate our culture, and empower our youth. Leaders like Jasmine Crockett and Justin J. Pearson are pushing for change. Their work is proof that the fight for liberation is alive and thriving in this generation. Schools like Dr. Howard Fuller Collegiate Academy are showing our kids the brilliance of Black excellence while equipping them to take on the world. Organizations like Surge Institute and Center for Black Educator Development are empowering leaders of color with the tools they need to transform education and uplift our communities. They're equipping leaders with the support, resources, and connections necessary to break down barriers and create a future where education truly serves our communities. They're not just talking about change, they're out here making it happen. Last but not least, at my organization, the Roots Initiative, we create spaces where our Black youth feel seen, valued, and empowered. We're teaching our leaders radical resistance, the deliberate collective effort to challenge and dismantle oppressive systems and structures. We stress that resistance isn't just about fighting back, but also about reimagining and building new systems that prioritize equity and justice. Join me in CBS Chicago as we celebrate Black history every day.
Next Monday, CBS will debut the first daytime soap opera to air on a major TV network since 1999.
It has been a while, and Beyond the Gates will replace The Talk. It'll be the first one-hour daytime soap opera completely centered on a Black family, and it's a collaboration between CBS and the NAACP. Glad to have it here. Joining us now are two of the stars of the show, Tamara Tooney and Daphne Duplay. Ladies, thank you for being with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations on being part of such a historic show and a first for daytime TV in a while. How does it feel to be part of this project?
It feels incredible. You know, many people know I spent 15 years on CBS on As the World Turns, and this show is the only show that would have brought me back to daytime television because of its historical nature, because it is breaking the glass ceiling by centering an African-American family at the core of the show. And so it's so delightful and wonderful to be there, and a family of affluence and power and elegance. And, you know, it's just the first of its kind.
It's been quite a ride, and it's so exciting and invigorating. We're all so proud of what we have accomplished and what we're putting out there for the audience to enjoy. So yeah, we're all really, really happy.
Okay, Tamara, you play Anita Dupree in the show. Is it a juicy role? Tell us about your character.
Yes, it is a juicy role. All the roles are juicy, but yes, Anita is very juicy. She's the matriarch of the family, and her past was she was an entertainer, which was easy for me to identify with. She was a singer. She grew up in Chicago in the projects, and her talent lifted her out of the projects. She was with a girl group with her girlfriends from high school, and they became very successful as a girl group. And then she went on to have a solo career, and that was very successful as well. And she met her soon-to-be husband, Vernon Dupree, at a rally in Washington, D.C. He was an aspiring politician, and they fell in love. And she decided to set aside her career to support his political aspirations and also to raise a family. Her two daughters, Nicole, played by Daphne, and Danny, played by Carla Mosley. And so she's very, you know, stalwart and strong in the center of this family. I say she and Vernon are the eye of the tornado because there's so much fabulous drama going on around them. But she also has her own secrets, and she has her own ghosts who will at some point come back to haunt her. So it's very, very, very exciting.
Good tease.
There's tons of roller coaster rides, you know, throughout all of our characters.
And Daphne, you play Dr. Richardson, as we just heard. What's your role? What's her role on the show?
So Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson, I'm the eldest daughter. I also feel like I am, you know, the calm in the storm. But like I said, it's a soap, so, you know, I'm seemingly perfect, but we know from the beginning that there are some hidden secrets. And, you know, she's a psychiatrist, and she's empathetic, sympathetic. She's wears her heart on her sleeve, but she also comes from the product of this woman. So she doesn't take no mess. You can't walk all over her. She, you know, holds her ground. You know, you can't mess with any of the Duprees, essentially.
That's right.
They're a tough family. I love it. Okay, and now, are you hoping that Beyond the Gates helps revive maybe the daytime genre? I particularly love soap operas, but are you hoping this might kickstart other projects, or are you just making sure that, you know, this is a success?
That would be amazing. And, you know, I've said it's like we're the first, but hopefully we're not the last. We're not, you know, inventing a new wheel. We're just making it better. And hopefully, you know, all the next come after us.
Yes, and soap operas, as we know, many have gone off the air. A few are still left. So I think this is definitely a revitalization of the genre. I think it's, as I often say, it's not your grandmother's soap opera, because it's very 2025, it's very relevant, it's very current, and it's very exciting, and it's elevated the genre to a whole nother level. And so I think that could indeed inspire new shows to follow us.
And it's also very Black. And like you said, seeing a Black family in this very affluent, classy role, I think it'll be a really nice change for daytime TV. Thank you both so much for joining us. Tamar Tooney and Daphne Duplay, thank you, and congrats on a historic show.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. And again, Beyond the Gates premieres Monday, February 24th. Mark your calendars. It's airing weekdays at 1 local time right here on CBS. You can also stream it on Paramount+.
And still ahead, a last-minute push by Senate Democrats to try and stop a key confirmation vote from happening today.
Ladies, you can't come to the Bronzeville Winery and not talk about the wine itself. They feature mostly wine labels from women and minority-owned businesses. So this is actually an Italian system that's called the wine emotion system, and as it works to preserve, and it works as a tap system as well. So they can sort of preserve really nice bottles of wine that you might just want to grab one glass of, not drink the whole bottle, although you could drink the entire bottle too. Either way works. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to be talking about an event they have coming up on Saturday, which is a mommy and me etiquette luncheon. So we'll tell you about that right after the break.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning and great to be with you. I'm Adrena Sinclair.
And I'm Dana Kozlov. It is 9:30. Thanks so much for staying with us. Ahead this half hour, a decision today that could impact your gas bill if you use People's Gas. The project that could lead to higher costs.
And taking a live look outside, it's getting a little bit better today when it comes to our temperatures. We're seeing some sun, slightly warmer, but I mean, that's so relative, Laura. It's very relative.
Wait, no. Today, remember.
6 degrees, okay.
Yep.
6 degrees up, not just 6 degrees, right?
We're going up 6.
Up
so yesterday
6
the high
degrees,
was 17, today 23.
Cool.
6 degrees. We love it. All right, it's 11 degrees right now though, so we are nowhere near in that warm up, but we're going to be feeling those changes, especially during the afternoon hours. Right now, bitterly cold, 11 degrees. Feels like we're sitting at -3 with a harsh wind in from the northwest. It's coming in at 10. 4 right now, Aurora is 12, Midway 8 degrees, Valparaiso and LaPorte at 10 degrees. Do have some lake effect snow to that side of the lake there, going up to Berrien County, where there's a winter weather advisory. But temperatures across the board today, teens, 20s, low 20s, the warmest point that we've been all week long. We do get into some sunshine. We've got that this morning, likely going to stick around through the rest of the day today. Temperatures going right back where we started, but this weekend is when we'll really start to notice those changes as we get above freezing, and then I'm tracking a string of multiple days in the middle 40s. I'll show you some of those warmer days coming up here shortly.
All right, Laura, thank you. Today, a ruling from the state on whether People's Gas can continue a project replacing gas lines.
The project started, but then was paused to see exactly what was needed and if all of it is needed. Our Darius Johnson live in the studio with us right now. Darius, if this project resumes, it could mean another rate hike for People's Gas customers.
Hey there, ladies. Good morning to you. Yet another increase, and that is really due to the cost of the project. When it was paused, it had already cost a few $1 billion, and if it it's approved today, the price tag to complete it is nearly $13 billion. That cost would then hit the pockets of customers. People's Gas is hoping for approval from the Illinois Commerce Commission to resume a pipe replacement program, which is meant to modernize the system. People's Gas says there are 2,000 miles of old pipes across the city. Some of those date back to the 1800s, and some of which are deteriorating, posing risks like leaks and explosions. After a year of looking into the project, the Illinois Commerce Commission will announce their ruling on if it can continue. This morning, the executive director of the nonprofit Citizens Utility Board joined us in studio to talk about how this could impact the pockets of customers. Take a listen.
If the utility is allowed to continue its spending at the current rate, we could see our bills double easily within the next 15 years.
Now, People's Gas said in a statement, quote, safety experts and 2 independent judges recently determined that our plan to update pipes is urgently needed, and it is the least expensive approach. People's Gas says they are hoping to get this work restarted again sooner rather than later. We expect to know what will happen by noon today, ladies.
Okay, Darius, thank you so much.
Well, after nearly 3 decades after his arrest, a judge is deciding today whether or not to release Robert Johnson. He was arrested for the 1996 murder of Eddie Binion, but the Exoneration Project says a judge vacated Johnson's conviction yesterday. WBEZ reports Binion was shot when 4 masked men broke into an apartment to steal drugs and money. The Exoneration Project says the only thing tying Johnson to the case was testimony from a co-defendant. The project says the co-defendant has since recanted and identified the true perpetrator, saying police forced him to implicate Johnson. The Senate set to vote today on whether or not to confirm Kash Patel as the FBI director. Patel expected to be confirmed unless more than 3 Republican senators step forward and vote against him. Democrats say he's unfit to lead, but Republicans say he's the right person to transform the Bureau. This morning, Illinois Senator Dick Durbin said Patel is dangerous and shouldn't be in charge of the FBI.
I'm convinced he has neither the experience, the judgment, nor the temperament to lead the FBI. My Senate Republican colleagues are willfully ignoring myriad red flags about Mr. Patel, especially his recurring instinct to threaten retribution against his perceived enemies.
The final confirmation vote for Patel will be at 1:45 this afternoon in the Senate.
Illinois Governor JB Pritzker has now given the details of his $55 billion budget plan for next fiscal year. One of the biggest surprises, he wants to launch a program, a law banning cell phones during classroom instruction in Illinois.
I'll move forward with legislation requiring all school districts in Illinois to adopt a cell phone policy that bans the use of phones during classroom instruction.
Another unexpected move, the budget plan would also end a controversial $420 million program that provides health coverage for undocumented immigrants. The change comes as a welcome sign for Pritzker critics.
That was a positive move because our focus ought to be on taking care of our own families.
The governor is also planning to increase funding for elementary and high schools by $300 million while lowering tuition for community colleges. Pritzker didn't address the over $700 million fiscal cliff facing Chicago transit agencies. He also says his budget includes no new taxes. Now, the budget must be approved by the Illinois General Assembly before it can take effect July 1st, which is the beginning of the fiscal year in the state. In response to the governor's budget address, the Chicago Teachers Union says state schools need more funding, not a cell phone ban. The CTU points to the latest State Board of Education's report, which shows about 70% of Illinois schools are underfunded. The CTU's president also says with threats of federal funding cuts and threats against minority groups, Illinois needs to know if it has a leader with a plan to protect children. This afternoon, the CTU is holding a town hall to give a bargaining update. And during his 35-minute address, the governor also took time to address the Trump administration.
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic. And all I'm saying is that when the 5-alarm fire starts to burn, every good person better be ready to man a post with a bucket of water if you want to stop it from raging out of control.
During his speech, Pritzker also linked the federal court system that's helped prosecute corrupt politicians in Illinois to the courts meant to keep the president in check. He also said policies from the Trump administration will hurt Illinoisans, including seniors and farmers.
Well, more young women are paying homage to their grandmothers with hobbies.
We are showing you the trends that have some generations embracing the past.
And in today's Jumpstart, we were at a Bronzeville winery for a behind-the-scenes look at what makes the restaurant a popular Chicago spot.
And the warm-up that we're all waiting on is right around the corner. When we go above freezing and for how long in your First Alert forecast.
Welcome back. In today's Jumpstart, we are at a Bronzeville winery where this weekend a special luncheon will be held to empower young girls.
This Saturday's Mommy and Me Etiquette experience will be a chance for mothers and daughters to bond while building confidence and also leadership skills. Such great things to have in your toolbox. Jackie Kostek joining us now at Bronzeville Winery with a look at the event. Good morning.
Dana, Audrina, good morning to you. Yes, we are going to get to the Mommy and Me Etiquette Luncheon in just a moment, but they also have a lot of other events at the Bronzeville Winery all throughout the year as well, including a wine club that happens once a month. I'm here with Cecilia Cuff, who started Bronzeville Winery about 3 years ago. So good morning once again.
Good morning.
Okay, so we are going to finish off the pairings really quick because we mentioned the caviar and cava pairing about an hour ago, but what else do we have here?
Here we have the endive salad with endive and citrus, a little bit of blood orange vinaigrette, paired with a Maçanita Branco, which is a Portuguese white.
Oh, lovely.
And then finally, we have probably everybody's favorite. It's a ube cheesecake, so earthy, beautiful, delicious flavors, paired with our favorite, Uncle Nearest, the Uncle Yam's Old Fashioned.
Oh, okay, that looks absolutely stunning. I love that you do is it the like flamed marshmallow on top too?
And it's a homemade sweet potato syrup in there.
Oh, okay, all of that sounds so delicious. Cecilia, I know you do a lot of different events here, including these kinds of pairings that you can find, but why did you want to do this Mommy and Me Etiquette Luncheon, which of course will not feature the alcohol that you're seeing right now?
So, I think that really the hospitality field and the professional fields as a whole are a playing field where someone can achieve different levels of equity or ownership in restaurants and really begin a career. And that beginning of your career starts with the social etiquette. And so it's really important for us to be able to pass on those skill sets and those knowledge to all the future young professional women and hopefully restaurateurs in our community.
I love it. So special. It is a Mommy and Me luncheon. Your mom is actually here right now too. So this is Rika Cuff. Yes, exactly. I love it. I love it. Rika, why did you think it was so important to teach this etiquette when Cecilia was young and when your other children were young as well?
I will tell you that it was part of me, and it started with my mother. And when my mother told my godmother that I had started an etiquette school back in 30 years ago, my godmother actually sent her a thank you note that my mother had helped me write when I was not even 3 years old. Wow. Now granted, it said, "Dear Godmother Inez," and my scribble, and then "Love Rika," but it started then. Yeah. And so it was just a natural part of me to be able to teach my children, because honestly, when it comes down to it, it really doesn't matter how much money you have, how you look, or anything else. It's the character, and it's how you treat other people, and that engages them as well.
Kindness first. Really quick, what are some of the things that you're going to learn when the folks are here on Saturday?
Well, we'll do everything from teaching them the proper way to sit down at a table if there's a male involved, how that would happen, but also not putting your feet on the rungs of the table or putting your elbows on the table, unless this is something Queen Elizabeth changed several years ago where, when you don't have a plate, you can put your elbows on the table now.
Okay.
How to speak in public, for example, not speaking so loudly that people at the other table can hear you. But in addition to that, Cecilia will come in and she'll share some interesting tips on tipping, as well as how to call a waitress or waiter over, and those types of things.
Oh. So many helpful skills to learn to just incorporate when you're out at a restaurant or when you're at home as well. Cecilia, Rika, thank you so much for your time this morning. See, I had to put my elbows up on the table when I was a kid because we had a very hungry yellow lab who used to like to jump up on the table. So the etiquette training was not very well done in my family at all. But Dana and Audrina, there are still tickets available for the Mommy and Me Etiquette Luncheon, which is being hosted here at the Bronzeville Winery. Ladies, back to you.
Amazing, Jackie. Thank you. We were all just here talking about all our etiquette that we learned as kids. Just, your parents would be like, get it together.
Elbows off the table. Elbows off the table.
I know, bring your spoon to your mouth, my dad would always say.
Setting the table, that was always a task. I still mess it up, but it's okay.
I know, me too. I'm like, where does the fork go?
Seriously, I used to know, like, exactly, and now I'm like, wait. Does the glass go on the right?
Doesn't matter. Whatever makes us happy and the food gets in our tummy, that's what matters.
Exactly.
Fair.
Nowadays.
Yeah, unless you're throwing a dinner party for, like the king.
Oh.
Right? And then you better know it.
Then the pressure is really going to go up on that.
And it'll never happen, so it doesn't matter. Laura.
You never know.
I highly doubt
Wishful
it.
thinking, right? Watch, it's going to happen in one of us. It's going to be exciting. 9:48. Here's a look at your temperature trend. We are going to be warming things up. Mid-40s for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, too. Still in the 40s. And as we look at that first day of March, which is right around the corner, a seasonable 37 degrees. Even the short-term forecast, we do have improving numbers, especially during the daytime hours. It was frigid this morning, still bitterly cold, but we're seeing at least these temperatures slowly rise. In fact, in the last hour, watched our temperature jump up 5 degrees at Chicago O'Hare. Aurora, you've got some room for improvement here. It's 4 degrees, 6 McHenry, 8 Valparaiso, 14 Michigan City and LaPorte. Been watching for some lake effect snow ongoing, kind of bobbing in and out in that direction there, which is why we have a winter weather advisory. More on that here in a second, but our winds right now fairly breezy. It is going to be a breezy day, which is going to keep those wind chills nice and low, especially right now below 0 readings. Aurora, 4 degrees, feels like -12. 9 degrees for your wind chill factors. These numbers are going to be improving from here on out, but with you factor in that wind, it's going to keep those numbers really low. Winter weather advisory, just mentioned this, from Berrien County up toward LaPorte County, Porter County too. You may get into a little bit of snow at times here today, so the biggest impact will be the roads and the slick conditions that may develop. But right now you can see that coming over right over Berrien County. That's likely where we'll see some of those higher snow accumulations. At advisory in effect until midnight tonight. So we've got some sunshine out there, more sunshine tomorrow, but the winds are going to be shifting and milder air is going to be building in, especially throughout the weekend and definitely by next week. 23 degrees, that's 6 degrees up from yesterday's high. Tonight we go down to the single digits, 9 degrees, partly cloudy skies, frigid nights, lighter breezes, still can see some wind chills that are right around 0, as low as -5, -10 degrees. So harsh wind chills in place for a night or two, and then we do see those things turning around, these temperatures turning around nicely, near 40 on Sunday, mid-40s on Monday, 45 for Tuesday and Wednesday. Chris, back over to you. I'm ready for Friday. I don't know about you.
Indeed. Oh, yeah, definitely. And especially after the things I have to tell you about. We're thawing out, but we're getting a little frisky out there, and some cases maybe a little bit too much. We're occupying each other's space, and that doesn't work very well. You can see that the core expressways are still kind of jammed up here. We've got some problems on the outbound side of the Edens, which are in relief now. That was red just a moment ago. Outbound at Peterson just pulled a crash out of the left lane there, and now it's backed up off the junction all the way up through Niles Center. Crash inbound Ike at Racine. 2 left lanes are blocked. That is solid coming in. Look at that. It was a mess. Crash outbound Bishop Fort, Stony Island feeder. That's almost gone. Left lane's blocked. As a matter of fact, that delay is starting to get a little longer, so that means they're moving it. Police investigation, Cicero closed, Madison to Jackson. We've got the water main repairs still going on in Skokie on East Prairie, south of Gulf. We still have icing conditions, and the warm-up's going to be welcome for the folks up here in North Barrington. 59 still closed, 22 to Cuba. And on top of that, we've got 10 cancellations at O'Hare and now 1 out of Midway because of weather elsewhere in the nation. Have a great day. Drive safe. Let's be nice to each other. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, it's a trend you may have seen on social media, but you didn't know it actually had a name. It's called Grandma Core, and it's when young women find meanings and hobbies of past generations.
It's something influencers are doing across the country, from New York to right here in Illinois. Naomi Ruckham shows us how the nostalgic wave is spreading.
At Cleo's Yarn Shop in Brooklyn, modern craft makers are fully entwined in hobbies of the past.
Mostly young people, young working professionals. Usually they're in some kind of creative field, so it's a lot of Gen Z and millennials.
Shop owner Cleo Malone opened the store in 2022, which also hosts workshops, craft circles, and happy hours.
The things that you make, it's not just an entertaining activity while you're doing it, but you get to make things and give them away to friends and family members, and people stay connected and feel very seen and loved because of that.
Pastimes like knitting, baking, and gardening saw a resurgence during the pandemic. Now, a larger group of young women has embraced finding meaning in activities their grandmothers enjoyed. On social media, Grandma Core is capturing fans with its doily aesthetic and thrifted treasures.
I think the fact that all of us are growing up and are older now, we can look back and appreciate and just feel the warmth and the fuzziness of what it felt like to be at Grandma's house growing up.
You might wonder why old women collect so many silly little things.
From her quaint country home in central Illinois, Mackenzie O'Donnell has drawn hundreds of thousands of clicks to her TikTok videos, where she shows off vintage finds and a passion for raising her family and animals.
It's kind of interesting that the internet is propelling something that's so old school.
It really warms my heart to read the comments and see the effect that just watching my videos of the nostalgic old decor brings to so many people.
Proving from the heart of Brooklyn to the rural Midwest, a nod to nostalgia never goes out of style. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Other things like coffee and tea culture are also apparently considered Grandma Core. Now, fans of the trend say they like activities that force them to slow down in this busy, social media crazed, short attention span world.
You know, we do have such a short attention span, and I think some of the activities of the past, like we saw, do help you just slow down. Ground.
Right, it's very meditative.
It is very meditative. Well, next, to look at the stories we're following today, including an officer accidentally firing their gun during an arrest. We'll have those details.
Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at the stories we're keeping an eye on today.
And we start with Chicago police officers telling us an officer's gun accidentally went off during an arrest in Austin. No one was hit by that gunfire, thank goodness, but investigators say it started as a robbery, with officers following a car until it crashed. It's that red Charger you saw there. 3 suspects tried to run away, but officers caught them. The gun went off while taking them into custody.
We could learn today if victims will be able to watch the trial for the accused Highland Park parade shooter before they take the stand. Witnesses are not usually allowed to watch out of concern their testimony could be influenced. The trial starts Monday.
People's Gas customers could find out as soon as today if their gas bills will go up even more. The utility company wants state approval on a project that would replace all the gas lines across the city. If that's approved, it's still unclear when some of those costs would potentially show up on customers' bills.
Hey, today's going to be the coldest day over the next 7, 23 degrees. Tonight, frigid, 9 degrees. We go to 27 on Friday, 30s through Saturday, Sunday, and then we're up into the mid-40s for the middle part of next week. And a shower chance. When was the last time we talked about just a shower chance?
I have no
It always
idea.
came along with some snow.
Yeah.
We're just warm enough where we won't have to worry about that, mostly during the afternoon into the evening.
45 is going to feel so
know.
good.
It is. I'm looking forward to that.
Hey,
for
I
sure.
deserve it. We deserve it.
Yes, we do. We deserve the 40s.
Yeah. All
right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here on the News at 9. Your local news continues right here on the stream.
With someone else, because we're spent for the day. Have a good one. Take care.